Howdy y'all, thank you for joining me today for this playthrough of the Winter Soldier. This is from the Marvel Champions card game hero pack, Winter Soldier. This is the pre-constructed deck that comes in this. All I did was, I already did an unboxing video where I went through it. All I did was sleeve it up and shuffle it. Gave it about 100 shuffles just to get it a good shuffle. We're gonna play this against the first villain of the campaign for S.H.I.E.L.D., which is Black Widow here, but this is the Yelena Belova Black Widow. Should be good enough, so we'll put that over there. Give Bucky his starting hit points of 11 hit points. So we got about 11 hit points here. And he also has a hand size of 6, which we will draw up here in a second. Let's go ahead and make sure we have all the bad guy stuff set up. So we got Black Widow here. She gets 13 hit points per player. So we gave her to 13 since we're playing solo. She starts with the Widow's Web here. It has 2 on there, 2 starting threat per number of players. So solo puts 2 starting on there. But also we need to still go and do the back part of this. Now, normally it says to have the Black Widow stuff, and then it says the standard encounter set, which we have in here, and then 2 modular encounter sets, the AIM Abduction and AIM Science are what they recommend. I basically flipped a coin, heads for science, or heads for abduction, tails for science, and it came up tails, so we have science in here. And the reason is because I instead replaced one of those with the, I was trying to see if it was right here on top. Of course it's not. I don't know where it's at, but I saw the thing here. But with the whiteout encounter set, which came with Bucky, so basically we could run into a Thunderbolt. So it's really Black Widow versus, or Black Widow and Blizzard versus Bucky Barnes. So we'll see how this goes. I'll give this a few more shuffle. Well, actually, we got to do the rest of this, sorry. Each player searches the encounter deck for a minion and puts it into play engaged with them. So let me go through here and look and see which minion I want to start with. All right, I went ahead and chose the AIM Scientist. I think that's one I typically choose because it's just easy to kill quick. And if not, if I have a way to stun, I can just get rid of it. So this comes into play, engage with me. So it doesn't do the surge because it just gets put into play. And it's got vulnerable, which if I stun or confuse it, just lets it be defeated. 2 hit points, and then while it's engaged, while the engaged player is engaged with any other minion, AIM Scientist cannot be attacked. But this is the only one we have on us at the moment. So normally they engage us and come into play with us, but since we're playing solo, I like to just put all the bad guys in one area, so we'll put them over there. And we're going to give this some shuffles while I talk about some other stuff. If this is your first time joining me, I will do a teach, just like a little soft teach right at the beginning, just kind of going through how the game works. That way, if this is your first time checking it out because you like Winter Soldier or you just happen to find a video, I do like this game a lot, so trying to find people who get people more interested into the game is always cool to me. But like I said, it'll just be a quick teach for the first round, just showing you how it works, how the rounds break down, how you do everything. Won't go too deep, and then if we just hit little things, I'll just kind of talk about them as we go. But for the most part, we're just going to go right off the bat. So the way this works is now that we have this all set up, it lets us know here if there's ever 10 threat on here per player that this stage is completed, which we will lose the game. So the way this works is we basically are trying to knock out Black Widow through 2 of her stages, and I got stage 1 and stage 2 here. So right now she gets 13 hit points per player, and this is just making a mess. I don't know why, but she's got 13 hit points per player. Once we knock that out, she'll go to her stage 2, which I believe is 16 if I remember right, but it's 16 hit points per player, I think. And if we can manage to do that, we win. We lose if Black Widow manages to pull off her main scheme here by getting 10 threat on here per player, which she has 2 of it already. or if she manages to knock out all the characters, which is just us. So basically, we're going to see if we can knock her out before she can pull off her main scheme or KO us. So that's pretty much the gist of what we're going to be trying to do. Give us a few more shuffles on camera, and then cut it, and that will be the deck. That's the encounter deck. It's ready to go. So we got this all set up, and we're ready to go. So now we come over here, and we already saw my hand size is 6, so we draw 6 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right after you draw up your initial starting hand, you're allowed to discard any cards you want into your discard pile, and then draw back up to your hand size is 6. So let's take a look at what I got here. I'm going to go ahead, since the only things I really would discard, I'm going to use as resources anyway, so we're just going to keep everything we have. And with that, we go to the top of the round. The round starts in the hero phase. The hero phase starts with a main player, and the first player, whoever's the main player, basically takes actions and takes their turn until they are done. So one of the things we can do, I'm going to go ahead and do, is right here. It says as an action, the cybernetically enhanced, as an action, I can spend 1 resource of any type to search your deck and discard pile for cybernetic arm and put it into play. The way you spend resources is on the bottom of every card. They have the resources down here, as you can see if I show in this hand here. And you discard the card to gain the number of resources that it shows on the bottom. You can see how some of them have 2 and whatnot. So I'm going to spend this resource as an action, spend a resource. So I'm discarding this to get that mental resource. And I can search my deck and or discard pile for cybernetic arm and put it into play. So it's not in my discard pile, so we're going to go on my deck. And we found the cybernetic arm. And it says to put it into play. So what cybernetic arm here is, it's an upgrade. Normally it would cost me 1, but we did it with an ability, so we would have had it in hand. We could have just done this. But it cost 1. But upgrade means it's going to upgrade a character, so we're upgrading Bucky Barnes here. Is an item tech as a resource, exhaust cybernetic arm to generate a wild resource for an attack event. That event gains 1 additional damage. So we have our cybernetic arm there. I'm going to give this some shuffles. All right, that should be more than enough shuffles there. Cut it there, and so that is one of the first things we did. Another thing you could do is once per round or once per hero phase, you get a free time that you can switch forms. And what that means is I can switch from alter ego form to hero form or vice versa for free 1 time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to switch from alter ego form to hero form. And you see that we get some new abilities here, which we'll go over, and a new ability on our card here. Because now we switched our hero form of Winter Soldier. We have a 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense, and now we have Lethal Protector. As a response, after you attack and defeat an enemy, remove 2 threat from a scheme. Another thing you can do on your turn is you can play cards from your hand, like we were talking about here, if this would have been in our hand. And if we want to play cards from our hand, we look up at the top corner here, and this tells us the cost of how much it costs to pay that card. And then we already talked about how you get the resources. So in this case, I want to play Winter Mask here. It seems like overkill, but we're going to pay with this resource here. So that's using 2. So we've more than paid enough, and we don't get the change, and we couldn't like play 2 1s in order to do that. But I want to get this out. So we bring out the Winter Mask. Winter Mask is a 1-cost upgrade, just like what we have here, but this time it gives me the Spy trait. And then as a hero response, which saying if I'm in hero form, as a response, After I attack and defeat an enemy, exhaust Winter Mask to draw a card. I now see a better play I could have made, but we're not going to take things back. Instead, we're just going to go on with what I had already planned. I want to play Metal Punch here. It is a 3-cost event. We're going to pay 2 of it with this card. And then we have our Cybernetic Arm, which remember says is a resource, which means while we're paying for things as a resource, I can exhaust Cybernetic Arm, generate a wild resource for an attack event. That event deals 1 additional damage. So this is an attack event. So there's the 3rd resource. And now we paid for it, and this does an additional damage. So let's see what it does. An event is a one-time play, which means we play it and then it just goes to our discard pile. It is an attack. It's a hero action, so it's an action just like here, but we have to be in hero form, so we are in hero form. And then we deal 7 plus the 1 here, so 8 damage to an enemy. If you exhausted Cybernetic Arm to pay for this event, this attack gains overkill. We did, so this event gains overkill. What overkill means is, in this case, we're going to attack AIM Scientist. We're going to be doing 8 damage to AIM Scientist. So, what overkill means is once we do enough damage to defeat AIM Scientist, any extra damage will carry over into the villain. So in this case, we're doing 8 damage and we have overkill. So we're going to attack AIM Scientist with this, which is going to do 2 damage. So 8 minus 2 means there's 6 damage left over after we knock out AIM Scientist. And I'm going to put this off to the side here in my play area because we got another trigger that's about to happen. Or a response. But then now we got 6 damage left over and it's going to carry over into Black Widow. Now, normally, Black Widow has an interrupt ability here. The interrupt ability says that when a character you control attacks Black Widow, remove 1 threat from the main scheme. Which means we'd have to remove a threat from here. If there wasn't any threat here, she couldn't do this. But if there was, then we would discard the top card of the encounter deck and resolve each preparation ability on that card. But in this case, we did not attack Black Widow. We attacked AIM Scientist. And the overkill carried over into her. So we just get to do 6 damage to her. Taking her to 7. And then we got a couple of responses here. We have an after you attack and defeat an enemy, and then after you attack and defeat an enemy. So since we're the active player, we can choose how we want to trigger these if we needed to. But we defeated this enemy. So, as a hero response, after you attack and defeat an enemy, exhaust Winter Mask to draw a card. So we exhaust Winter Mask to draw a card. And then, as a response, after you attack and defeat an enemy, remove 2 threat from a scheme. So we come over here and we remove 2 threat from a scheme. And AIM Scientist is done. Okay, one of the other things you could do on your turn is you can do what's called a basic action with your character. And this means is I could, as a basic action, I could exhaust my character to do one of these basic things. So if I wanted to thwart for 2, I could exhaust this character, and what I would do is I would remove a number of threat equal to this number or equal to my thwart from a scheme. In this case, we have no threat on the scheme, so we're not doing that. I could also exhaust this character and attack a villain or an enemy for this much damage. Or if I had an attack coming in front to me, I could exhaust this character and defend and reduce the damage coming in by this number. And I'm going to show this other side, but we're not in alter ego form, but just to show. You also have one called recovery, which if I was in alter ego form, I could exhaust to recover this many hit points back up to my max. I'm already at max and I'm not in alter ego form, so. But in this case, we are going to exhaust and attack Black Widow for 2 damage. And we already talked about this. When a character you control, she has a forced interrupt, which means we have to do it. When a character you control attacks Black Widow, remove one threat from the main scheme, ignoring any crisis icons. There's no crisis. Crisis just means if there was a crisis icon, we couldn't do anything to remove this threat. This says it ignores that. But in this case, there is no threat left on here. So since there's no threat left on here, she cannot trigger this, so it doesn't happen. So we attacked her for 2. She just takes 2 damage. Once a player is done, and they've done all they want to do, and played all cards they want to do, they would go on to the next player in player order. Once all the players have taken their turn, including, like these actions we had, well, if you have other players, you can do actions during their turn with their permission. Just got to ask them first. But only actions that you can do that with. Now, once all the players have gone, next, each player will go to the end of the player phase. And when we go to the end of the player phase, each player will look at their hand and choose to discard any number of cards. So in this case, I want to discard this firepower, but I want to keep Black Widow. And then once you've discarded the number of cards that you wish, you would draw up to your hand size. Remember, on one side, on the alter ego side, my hand size was 6. Now my max hand size is 5. So that means I draw up to my max hand size of 5. So since I kept 1, that means I draw 4 new cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5. I draw 4 new cards. After you've drawn up, you ready and unexhaust all your cards in your play area. And then we go to the villain phase. The first step of the villain phase is to accelerate the scheme. So we look here to see how much the scheme accelerates. In this case, it says plus X per number of players. So we got to see what X is. X is the Black Widow's stage number, which Black Widow's stage number is 1. So it's going to accelerate 1 threat to the main scheme. Once the acceleration step is over, next we go to the villain phase, or the villain's activation step of the villain phase, and the villain activates against each player depending upon what form they are in. So what that means is if the player or identity that they are activating against is in alter ego form, then they will scheme and add more threat to the main scheme. If the identity is in hero form, then the villain will attack them and do damage to them. I am in hero form, so Black Widow will attack me. And next, I'm going to play this card. And I can only do that because it's an interrupt. As it says, hero interrupt, so it's an interrupt. And I am in hero form, so I have to be in hero form, I am. And the interrupt is when an enemy attacks. Because an interrupt basically looks at before something happens. So like when she attacked me, now it's saying, okay, she's attacking you, so now I'm interrupting that attack. So I'm doing that. It says when an enemy attacks, deal 3 damage to it. If you exhausted cybernetic arm to pay for this event, prevent all damage from that enemy's attack. So it costs 1. I'm going to pay my cybernetic arm, which means it's going to do an additional 1 damage because, remember, it gives me the wild resource for an attack event. This is still an attack event. So I do an additional 1 damage. So it's going to do 4 damage and block all damage coming in from me. Coming in to me, I should say. But remember, there is a forced interrupt here. That when a character you control attacks Black Widow, I'm attacking her still. This is an attack card. So I attacked her. So it removes 1 threat from the main scheme. There is 1 here, so this does trigger. Removes that. And now we discard the top card of the encounter deck and resolve each preparation ability on that card. We're discarding this and we're going to see if there's preparation on it. There is. So preparations are down here. That's just the way the Black Widow cards work. And it lets us know, as a preparation, deal 1 damage to each character you control. So we have to deal 1 damage to each character we control. Now remember, this was preventing all damage from that enemy's attack. This is not the enemy's attack. So she's just going to do 1 damage to each character I control. I only control 1 character, so she does 1 damage to me. All right, that was her preparation. So now we do 4 damage to her. Taking her to 1. Remember, it was +1 because of the cybernetic arm. And then now we're going to prevent all the damage, but we still have to finish out and find out how much damage we're preventing. She does 1, but anytime a villain activates, they get what's called a boost card. They deal the top card of the deck into the boost pile. In this case, we don't have any other cards, so that's the only boost pile. And then we flip over the cards. We ignore all of the card except for the bottom here. And we look at these symbols. For each of those symbols that are on the bottom of the card, that's how much additional damage or scheming or threat that they do on their activation. So in this case, she is attacking for 1 plus 3, 4 damage. We prevented it all. All right, after the villain has activated against each player, all the minions that are attached to, are engaged with to the identity would also attack. In this case, we didn't have any because we put them all over here, so there were no minions. So now we go to the encounter step. The encounter step consists of dealing each player an encounter card into their encounter pile. And there could be more if you've done something that basically made you have more cards into your encounter pile. And then now is when you would activate all those cards that you dealt into your encounter pile. In this case, we only have the 1. So we're going to see what the 1 is. And it is Aim Grunt. So it is a minion. So the minion will engage with us. But remember, we're just putting them all over here. And this minion basically has 5 hit points instead of the 2 that we had earlier. And he has guard. What guard means is basically we cannot attack Black Widow until we have to attack him first. He is guarding her. After all the encounter pile has been dealt with, the encounter step's over, and the last step of the villain phase is to pass the first player marker to the next player. In this case, we're solo, so we're done. And that's it. That is a round of the game. We're going to go back and forth between hero phase, villain phase, until either we knock out Black Widow through both of her phases, which we've got 1 more damage we have to do to her to get her through that first phase, to get to her second phase, or stage, I should say. And then we lose if she pulls off this scheme, which she's not even done. We've cleaned that all up. Or she manages to knock us out, which she did do some damage to us. So with that, we'll just go back and forth, and that should be the end of the teach, other than just little things I'll throw in here and there. And we start at the beginning of the hero phase. Well, I thought I was going to bring Black Widow out this turn, but that Aim Grunt kind of got in the way. So instead, we're going to bring out Winter Armor, another upgrade. It costs 2. There's the 2. And we put Winter Armor into play. It says it gives us +3 hit points, and we gain steady. So we gain the 3 hit points immediately, but now our max hit points is actually 11 plus 3, 14. Now we don't go to 14, we just gain the 3 hit points that we gained from the Winter Armor. And what steady is normally a character can get stunned or confused. Stunned says that the next time you would get attacked, or next time you would attack, instead you get rid of this card, so it basically cancels out your next attack. And confused is the next time you would thwart, or if it's a villain in this, or a bad guy that has confused, if they scheme, the next time they would thwart or scheme, instead this goes away. So it basically just cancels out a scheme or attack or thwart or attack. Steady says you have to get 2 of these before it cancels out. So basically, I could take a stun, and until I get stunned again, then that's when it would cancel out my next one. So pretty good there. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing I did last time, and we're going to attack Aim Grunt for 2. Now remember, I said last time, I want to attack Black Widow, but I can't because the Aim Grunt is guarding her. So I just attack the Aim Grunt and do 2 damage to him. With that, quick and easy turn, I'm done. I'm going to keep this, hoping to bring it out next turn. We draw back up to our hand size of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ready and unexhaust all our cards. Go back to the beginning of the villain phase. Accelerate the scheme for 1, because she's still in stage 1. I am in hero form. So now that she's attacking me, so Black Widow will attack me, and since she's attacking me, now's when the time, if I want to defend, I have to choose if I want to defend or not. I'm going to go ahead and choose to defend. So remember, I have to exhaust, but that means now I will reduce any damage she does to me by this number here in my defense, which is 2. But remember, since I don't ready until the end of the hero phase, this also means I won't be able to do any of my basic attacks or thwarts against her. But we're defending for 2, so she's attacking for 1 plus the boost card, which is another 1. So she attacks for 2 damage. We defended for 2, so we take 0 damage. But remember, after the villain attack or activates against the identity, all minions engaged with that identity now activate in the same way. So now he's attacking me for 1, but minions do not get the boost card in order to add to their damage unless they have an ability called Villainous. So in this case, he's just attacking me for 1. I cannot defend, so I have to just take the 1. All right, so villain activated, minions activated. So now we go to the encounter step, deal ourselves an encounter card, and then we see what the encounter card is, which is Black Widow's Gauntlet here. This gives her +1 attack as an attachment that's going to go on Black Widow. She's going to get +1 attack. Black Widow gains Retaliate 1. So Retaliate means if we attack her, then if she survives the attack, then we take the Retaliate damage in retaliation. As a hero response, after a character you control attacks Black Widow, if no preparation ability was resolved, then discard this card. Sorry, I decided to zoom out a little bit since I'm putting this into play. So we either have to trigger her ability and it has to have no preparation ability on it, or the way I interpret it, if all of this threat's gone, then it says after a character you control attacks Black Widow if no preparation ability was resolved. So if this doesn't even happen, then no preparation ability was resolved. So it would also get rid of it. So we either just got to clean this up before we attack her or hope to not hit a preparation. Then this will go away. We don't have to worry about retaliate. All right, into the encounter step. Back to the beginning of the hero phase. We drew that metal punch. So we're going to pay for it. We're going to pay 2 like we did before. Pay the extra 1 with the cybernetic arm, so we do an extra damage. But that ain't going to matter because really we just wanted the overkill, which is what's on this card. This is the metal punch that we played before. If I remember right, there were 2 or 3 in the deck. I mean, I was going to play Black Widow to get it out anyways, then we end up drawing another one. So we're doing 8 damage with Overkill. So we're going to attack, because we can still attack. We're just not doing our basic attack. We're just doing our regular attack. And we're going to attack Aim Grunt, just like we did with Aim Scientist, right? Aim Scientist, yeah, it was the Aim Scientist. So we're doing 8 damage to him. He's already got 2 on him, so he's got 3 left. So he takes 3 of the 8 damage, which is enough to knock him out. We're moving it over there so we don't forget his triggers. And then once again, this doesn't trigger, but we're also not attacking her. So it's the same thing. It's not going to, we don't have to worry about the retaliate. So we don't have to worry about the retaliate because this, once again, retaliate is only if they're the target of the attack. So the rest of the damage spills over into her, but she only had 1 hit point anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's enough to KO her, which means we pushed her past her first stage. The attachment still stays on her, but we have some stuff here. Basically, she goes to 16 hit points per player. So I did remember that correctly. I kind of figured this would be like a lot of damage. It's an aggression deck, so we should just mow through her. I'm hoping we don't go too fast so we can see more of the cards, but it's not happening that way. But anyways, now she has a when revealed, and it says, when revealed, place 2 threat per player on the main scheme. And I actually need to check on order of operation here because I have some triggers that would remove threat. So I don't think this when revealed would happen till after my triggers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. I have to go do all my when defeated triggers, so this isn't going to have any effect right now. But I'm just going to do that so I don't forget to put it on there for now. But this will go on there right now, but I'm going to have something that's going to get rid of this. So, yep, for now I'm just putting it up there so I don't forget it. But that's setting her up. She's ready to go. Now he's got to knock her out on the 16 to just finish her off and win the game. And that's all the when revealed, so we're done there. Just making you aware that this I'm just doing so I don't forget it later. All right, so we have some when defeateds here. We actually have 2 when defeateds because we defeated the Aim Grunt and we also defeated Black Widow. And that's the reason why I said it's weird on the timing, but we have to do our when defeateds first. So we have this hero response that after you attack and defeat an enemy, exhaust and Winter Mask and draw a card. So we're going to exhaust Winter Mask to draw a card. I mean, it's kind of a waste because we're probably going to the end of my phase anyways, but yeah, maybe it's something we could play. And then we have that after you attack and defeat an enemy, remove 2 threat from a scheme. Oh, actually, it wouldn't have triggered multiple times anyways, because it's attack and defeat. We only attacked and defeated 1 enemy. So it wouldn't have mattered anyways. I mean, I guess, anyways, we get to remove 2 threat. So it would have been nice to be able to take 2 of this threat, but remember, these 2 threat are not on there yet, so it just gets rid of the 1. Then all of our triggers are done. Aim Grunt went to the discard pile, and then now's when she would reveal and all the when revealeds would happen. Now, if there's multiple when revealeds and when defeated triggers, the active player gets to choose when those happen. So like if she had a when defeated and I had those when defeateds, I get to choose where those go. But you got to do all the when defeateds and then all the when revealeds, in my opinion. And that's just the way I read the rules too, so I'm pretty sure I did that right. All right, all that was from that attack. With that, I'm going to go to the end of my turn. I mean, I'm going to keep it just because other options. So I'm not going to discard anything. So we have 3 cards in hand. So draw up to our hand size of 5. So 3, 4, 5. Ready all of our cards. Go back to the beginning of the villain phase. But remember, now when we accelerate, because it's equal to her stage number is 2. So we're accelerating the scheme by 2. So now she's got 4 to the 10. This is getting a little dangerous. We're in hero form, so she's going to attack me. I just want to look at something real quick in my discard. because it's something that's on one of my cards. Yeah. Don't really do anything that I want to do, so we're not going to defend. So she's going to attack for 2, 3, plus whatever the boost card is. So boost card, 3, plus 2, 4, 5. Whew. She hit me pretty hard. So I take 5 damage. Taking me to 7. All right, no minions. So we go to the encounter step. Do ourselves an encounter card. Oh, really? Another aim grunt? Well, just like before, he goes into play and protects her. Back to the hero phase. All right, we're going to make room here. I think we're finally going to bring out our Black Widow. So I'm just going to tuck that under there because all it's doing is giving me the +3 hit points and the steady. And these are all upgrades that are attached to Winter Soldier. We're going to go ahead and bring Black Widow out. She costs 3. So there's the 3. And Black Widow is an ally. You can have up to 3 allies in your play area. And they basically, as you can see, have these extra actions. And I'm going to show you how those work here in a second. But they just come into play and you can have up to 3 of them. As a response, it says, after you play Black Widow from your hand, return an attack event from your discard pile to your hand. So we put Black Widow into play. As a response, we're going to go get that metal punch back since it's been doing so much damage. All right. She's now in play. So this time, we're going to have Winter Soldier go ahead and thwart a scheme for 2. So he comes over here and removes 2 threat from a scheme. And now we're going to have Black Widow do the same thing. So she's going to thwart for 2, removing the 2 threat from the scheme. But now, notice on the allies, they have these little stars underneath those. Those are called consequence stars. So anytime they do the ability they do, they have to take damage equal to how many stars are there. So in this case, she thwarted, so she has to take 1 damage to her 3 hit points. And then notice they don't have defense because they can defend also for you, but they would just take it in the face. So they don't get any reduction there. So she has to take 1 damage for thwarting. And we're also going to go ahead and do that 1 time per hero phase. Free switch into my alter ego form. And then we're going to go to the end of my turn. So now we discard. I want to keep both of these. But now we draw up to our hand size of 6. So we had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ready and unexhaust all of our cards. Accelerate the scheme for 2. I am in alter ego form, so Black Widow will scheme. So she's scheming for 2 plus 1. So she schemes for 3. And then the minion schemes for another 1. Now we go to the encounter step, and we have attack acrobatics here. When revealed, if you are in alter ego form, I am, changed to hero form, Black Widow attacks you, give her an additional boost card for this attack. Oof. Alright, so I'm in alter ego form. So I have to switch to hero form. And now she's going to attack me. And she's going to get an additional, so she's going to get 2 boost cards for this. Well, that kind of ruins my plans a little bit. I was planning on attacking the guard with this, do 4 damage to him, and then overkill with another 8, doing 7 to her. But that's not going to happen. So And I was even considering doing a little bit of healing. Well, I really wanted to play this arm block, but I can't because the aim grunt has guard and she's attacking me, which means I can't play this because it's an attack. If it was just a defense, yeah, no, well, either way, I can't play it the way I understand the rules because of guard, so, because I can't target her with it, and it's an attack card, so we're definitely going to have to defend because she's getting 2 boost cards here, and I'm pretty low, so we're going to defend. So she's attacking for 2, 3, plus 2 boost cards. And oh my goodness. Whew, 5, 6, 7. Did she just knock me out? Oh, well, no. Because I defended. Good thing I defended. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. Minus a 2 means I take 6. Going to 1. And sorry, I hope I didn't mess up something there as far as like, because I was looking up things to double check about that attack defense that I just did. So, hoping I didn't miss something there. But, ugh. So we don't have a choice here because now, that was all from the encounter step. Well, I definitely changed my turn. So that was the encounter step. Back to the beginning of the hero phase. Ugh. Do I have any preparations? All right. I was looking at that because I got that Black Widow card, the Winter Widow Soldier Spy. So, man, that really did bring my morale down. This is why I don't like playing aggression because it just seems like it's all about attack, and you got to figure out the subtle times to. All right, I'm gonna do Winter Widow Soldier Spy. It costs 2. It's a team up. I have to have Black Widow and Winter Soldier into play. Winter Soldier, Black Widow. Oh, I just realized there's something I should have went over. I didn't do anything, but just in case, do notice that Black Widow is unique, and so is Black Widow over here. But this is Yelena Belova Black Widow, and this is Black Widow Natasha Romanoff. So in that case, you can have the same unique in the play as long as it's not the same unique and secondary named. Now, this doesn't show the secondary name, but we know this is not that Black Widow. This is Yelena. So I meant to mention that when I brought her out, and I just forgot since there were so many turns between when I brought her out. Sorry that I forgot that. But anyways, we got her both in the play. This is a hero action. Costs 2. There's 1. And we're going to do the other one with my cybernetic arm, which is generate a wild resource for an attack event. Attack event. And it does an additional damage. So what is this hero action? It is put a preparation upgrade from your discard pile into play and then deal 4 + 1, so 5 damage to an enemy. So put a preparation into play. And this is the reason I've been looking at it to see if I got more, but it's only one. I have 2 in there, but this is the one I'm going for. It's the Silent Infiltration. It is an upgrade that now after I attack and defeat an enemy, I discard this card, ready my hero, and confuse an enemy. So we're just upgrading the crap out of Winter Soldier here, but there we go. And then now we get to do 5 damage attack. Well, we can't attack Black Widow because of guard, so 5 damage to aim grunt, which is enough to KO aim grunt. So we come over here. We have triggers. 1, the preparation we just did. So after you attack and defeat an enemy, we attacked and defeated an enemy, discard this card to ready your hero and confuse an enemy. So we're going to ready our hero and then confuse an enemy. So we already talked about this earlier, but just to show it again, confuse is when you confuse them, they now the next time someone would scheme or thwart, instead they just get rid of this confuse. So we're going to confuse Black Widow. We also have another trigger that after you attack and defeat an enemy, exhaust Winter Mask to draw a card. So we will exhaust Winter Mask to draw a card. And then we have the response that after you attack and defeat an enemy, remove 2 threat from a scheme. 2 threat from a scheme. All right, all those triggers are done. I was about to make a big mistake and attack with Winter Soldier, but remember, she's got Retaliate, so I would have attacked her and just killed myself. So we're not attacking. Let's do what we did last turn. Let's clean up the mess. We're going to thwart for 2, and just to save time, I'm going to go ahead and thwart for 2 with Black Widow also. So we thwart for 4 altogether, cleaning up the mess. But Black Widow has to take the consequence star. All right, I don't really have much of a choice here. Only thing I'm going to take back, I did those double. I know, I'm taking things back. I hate when I do that. I'm only going to have Black Widow do scheming or thwarting. Instead, because we need to heal. I just caught that. I just did that. So instead, we're going to use our switch to alter ego form, and we're actually going to recover for 3 hit points. So, yeah, I just realized I was like, no. We need to do that. That's more important. I mean, as much as I want to clean that up, especially as I'm going to, oh, she's confused. That's right, she's confused. So I was thinking, man, I need to clean that up because I can't go in alter ego form to heal, but I forgot I confused her. So, no, yeah, that's definitely, I know. I don't like taking things back, but nothing really changed. I didn't see anything new. I just realized I'd done that cleanup and was like, oh, well, I need to heal. All right, well, I was going to discard this anyway, so we're just going to put it into play. This cost 1, so we're going to pay the 1 here. 2, aggressive stance. That way, if we do hit another minion, basically saying after I engage a minion, I discard this card to search my deck for an attack event and add it to my hand. And just in case she plays another one of those, I got to keep arm block in hand, so we're going to go to the end of my turn, right? Yep, there's nothing else I want to do. We're going to go to the end of my turn. I want to keep 2 of these. I'm going to discard 1 by 1. And draw up to our hand size of 6. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ready our cards. Ready and unexhaust, I should say, but all right, we go to the top of the turn. The acceleration still happens. Confuse only stops the scheming and thwarting. So acceleration still accelerates for 2. But now I'm in alter ego form, so she's going to scheme, but because she's confused, instead she just gets rid of the confusion. So now we go to the encounter step. And, oh, I don't remember this being good. So this is a side scheme. Basically, it comes into play and it gets 3 on there per player. So it's going to get 3 on there. And as a force response, after an ally enters play, exhaust it. And this means that on future encounter steps, we would have to deal ourselves an extra encounter card. We want to take care of that before we go to the next encounter steps. So there's 3 threat on there. All right, back to the beginning of our turn. I don't like that came out, but that didn't go as bad as I was thinking. So I really want to heal, but I just can't. I don't want to deal with 2 encounters. So we're just going to take a chance. We're going to switch to my hero form. We're going to have Black Widow go ahead and thwart for 2. And then she takes consequence damage, which is enough to KO her. And yeah, really don't want to, but I have no other way if I don't want to deal with an encounter. So we're thwarting for 2 just to get rid of this. We're going to do this electrical discharge. Costs 2. We're going to pay 1 there. And use the exhaust cybernetic arm to generate a wild resource. That event deals 1 additional damage. And then also on this, so now we paid for this, so now it's doing 5 damage, but it also says if you paid for this event using a energy resource, stun that enemy. Well, I paid a physical here, but this was a wild resource, and since I'm paying, a wild can be used as anything when paying, so this is where the wording's always so weird on these cards, but that's part of payment, so it is a wild, which can be used as anything, so I'm going to use it as an energy resource and stun that enemy. So we're doing 5 damage to Black Widow, and we're going to stun her, but we have to go through this first. So we trigger her ability. When a character you control attacks Black Widow, remove 1 threat from the main scheme, and then discard the top card and do any preparations. It does have a preparation. Deal 1 damage to each character you control. She's going to keep doing damage to me when I'm solo. Well, this doesn't go away because we had a preparation trigger. So she takes 5 damage, and I'm going to have to take the retaliate. That might have been a mistake. I didn't think about all that. Oh well. So we did 5 damage to her. We're also stunning her, and we already kind of talked about this, just like with the Confuse. She gets a stun, which means the next time she would attack, she does not. She just gets rid of the stun, so she's stunned. But she had retaliate, so I got to take another 1 because of retaliate. I'm going to go ahead and I want to bring out Shield Sidearm, cost 1. So we're going to pay this to bring out the Shield Sidearm. It is an upgrade. It is a weapon we're going to put attached to a shield character. I have a shield character with Winter Soldier. Puts 3 counters on here as an interrupt. When attached character makes a basic attack, exhaust Shield Sidearm and remove 1 ammo counter from it to deal 1 damage to an enemy. So put 3 counters on here. We'll put blue for shield since it's a shield sidearm. So we got 3 counters on there. I want to keep these, especially since we're so low, because we might have to stop some damage. I mean, she's stunned, but we don't know what the card's going to be. So keep these. Draw up to our hand size of 5. We got 2, 3, 4, and 5. Unexhaust all of our cards. Go back to the top of the villain phase. She accelerates the scheme for 2. I am in hero form, so she would normally attack, but she is stunned, so instead she just becomes unstunned. Go to the encounter step and gang up. I'm in hero form, so the villain and each minion engaged with me engage with you attacks. Lovely. Well, luckily I saved it. We're just going to take the retaliate. So I'm going to play arm block here. We're going to do cybernetic arm. So we can't do it this time because we don't have the guard in play anymore. So now I'm going to do 4 damage, and it's going to prevent all damage from that enemy's attack. But this is an attack, so it's going to trigger Black Widow's ability, so she gets rid of 1 threat. And hopefully this ain't one that does damage to me. Okay, there is no preparation. So this just gets discarded. No preparation happens. This has a hero response that after a character you control attacks Black Widow, if no preparation ability was resolved, it'll go. So it's going to go away. But she still has to retaliate for this attack because it goes after the attack. So this is going to go away. I'm just going to go ahead and discard. I'm just going to go ahead. Well, I'm going to keep it in hand because it's going to go away. It doesn't matter about the plus damage because I'm preventing all the damage, but she still gets the boost card for the attack. But first, let's go ahead and do our damage to her. So we do 4 damage to her because of the cybernetic arm. And then now she boost attacks me. Oh, this is a good one to have for a boost. But so she does 2 plus the 1, 3, 4, 5. So she did 5 damage to me, but this prevents all damage from that enemy's attack. But I also attacked her, so I have to take the retaliate from that. Ugh. I was hoping to attack her this next turn, but looks like we're going to have to go back and heal a little bit. All right. All that was triggered from the encounter step, so back to the beginning of my turn. You know what? Winter Soldier wouldn't play it safe. He'd go full-on attack. Let's just hope there's one preparation she has that basically prevents all the damage. And if she prevents the damage, then she wins because she don't retaliate no more. Oh, but if she hits the one that does damage to me. Yeah, Winter Soldier wouldn't play it safe. We're going for it. We're going to Metal Punch. So there's the 3 for Metal Punch. So we're not doing the extra damage because we don't need the overkill anyways. And we're not doing the extra damage. We're going to hope it just knocks her out. So here we go. We're attacking for 7 damage. So trigger her ability. Here we go. Preparation. No preparation. So, yep. Do 7 damage. Knock her out. Whew. Yeah, I just don't like aggression decks. I mean, I guess I could have also thwarted a little bit. But that wouldn't have made a difference. Still would have had to go through the preparation, right? I don't have anything else I could have really done. Nope. All right. I think this was longer than I expected it to be. I mean, I wanted it to so we could see more cards so I can at least talk about them. But let me clean up here and then we'll zoom in and we'll go through the whole deck and give a review on each card now that we've been through the game. So, all right, let's go through these cards. I mean, right off the bat, so I didn't get to do it. One of the things that I always think is kind of cool about an ability right off the bat here with Bucky Barnes is that ability about going to get your cybernetic arm, or in the case with Captain America, the shield, or Thor for Mjolnir. Is the neat thing is if you happen to draw that card in your opening hand, you can mulligan it to your discard pile to draw another card so that you can just, I guess you're going to discard that card anyways just to get it to your hand. Oh no, because it goes into play. So I mean, yeah. So it's like basically getting it for free, or yeah, basically you can just discard it and just get another card that you can discard so that you can have an extra card in hand. Whereas if normally you kept it in hand, you would play it, so you'd have to discard the card anyways to play it for 1. And so yeah. It's kind of cool that you could do that with this ability. And then also if there's stuff that destroys it or makes you discard it or out of your play area, well, now you can go back and go get it again. And you saw how good it was for those attack events, doing that extra damage and doing the overkill or whatever, or just even a wild resource so you could spend it for other stuff. I mean, having the basic attacks, the basic stats was good. The response of attack and defeat an enemy, remove 2 threat from a scheme. I mean, that's cool if you can keep getting the minions out, which we did run into a lot of minions, but unless you are playing the things that let you put more minions into play, you're not really going to get rid of threat too much with that. So, I mean, now, I ain't going to say I didn't use it. Well, we used it 3 times. I mean, that's just good. A good overall, just basic thing that's going to happen every time you defeat an enemy. So, seems good. All right, we didn't get to see Nick Fury Sr., but we've seen him in play before. I like him. He's good. You're going to pay for, now with an aggression deck, that's kind of rough, unless you have a way to make it cheaper, which I don't think he really did. I mean, The Man on the Wall card could have made it cheaper, and I saw that, and we'll talk about that later. But no, it's still a good overall card. I like them because they're very toolbox and whatnot. Deathlock, we didn't get to see him. Let's see how I feel about him now. If I would have gotten him in here, I mean 3 and 3. That's not too bad to get him out. Now I wouldn't have been able to use it for Thwart because he would have died quick and he wouldn't have done a lot of damage. But after he enters play, search your deck and discard pile for a copy of Shield Sidearm and attach. Okay, so he would have got the extra damage. So he would have been doing 2 damage. So you're going to get the typical 2 times 3, 6. So 6 damage. And then, well, we'll talk about what Shield Sidearm does later because we did see it. But yeah, no, I mean, I like it. And then I could have used them to clean up if I needed to, but I wouldn't have. I would have used them for damage. Or actually, I probably would have done them for 4 damage and then let him just absorb a hit for me since it's an aggression deck. So, yep. And then that seems good. I was about to say, unless there's other sidearms, but no, it's only the Shield Sidearm that you're going to get for him. But, all right. Firepower, we did see this. I did not get a chance to play it. 1 cost event, hero action. Exhaust up to 3 weapon upgrades you control. For each upgrade exhausted this way, choose an enemy and deal 3 damage to it. This attack gains ranged. So, if you have that, it's good that I'm seeing it right here with Deathlock. So if you had Deathlock and you have the Shield Sidearm on and he's already taken the 2 damage from consequence damage, I mean, you still could technically control that sidearm, so you could exhaust that and just do 3 damage. So then at that point, Deathlock's just filling in the firepower card, so I can see how that could be really good. I put the Shield Sidearm on to Winter Soldier, so then I could have just used that to do 3 damage, so 1 for 3 damage. But really, in the right scheme of things, you get a Shield Sidearm on Deathlock, you got 1 on Winter Soldier, or even his his weapon on Winter Soldier, which I saw, and then, I mean, that's 1 for 6, or in the ideal world, if I would have gotten 1 on Black Widow also, 1 for 9 damage, and then ranged means it ignored the retaliate, so, yeah. It was cool. That'd be cool. I like it. But it has to be in a deck where you got some weapons. Otherwise, yeah. So like in this deck, really, since there's not a lot of weapons, I'd probably only play with 1 or 2 of those. So I could trade in maybe another weapon or maybe something else. So yeah, I'll look at it. Spoiling for a fight, I almost thought about doing it. It was just the only time I could have done it. It would have put a minion into play. I was worried because I do know from the playing against Black Widow in the past that Black Widow does have the Hydra guy. Let me see if I can dig him out real fast. Yeah, oh, he happens to be right here on top when I was flipped over the deck. So he's at the bottom anyway, so I probably wouldn't have hit him. But I was so low on hit points, especially when I was at 1 there, I was worried if I did it, I would hit him and he would quick strike in and kill me. So I didn't want to do that. I mean, look at anyone else I could have hit. I don't think it would have been as bad, but I knew there were multiples of him in there. And then I was worried I could hit the AIM soldiers. Now that is what it made it to where I couldn't cleaned up when I needed to. So, I mean, that was my thought. I thought about playing it and I was like, man, I could hit that guy and I'm at 1 and he comes in, he quick strikes. And I'm KO'd. So I just couldn't, I didn't want to risk it. But with this deck, it makes sense because then you could sit there and maybe even clean up because you went and got a minion. Because I was going to ready so that I could heal, but I was like, I just can't take that chance. Would have liked to hit that at a certain point to get my stuff out sooner, but definitely needed this deck if you want to bring out allies. Like I said, we talked about Shield Sidearm. The thing I like about it the most, I mean, it's only 1 damage. I mean, you're going to do 1 for 3, which we just talked about is good. 1 for 3 is damage. Now, you're only going to do it 1 at a time, but the nice thing about it is it does it when you attack. It's an interrupt. So that means if they had toughness, which we didn't hit in this game, toughness is the first time they would take damage. Instead, they just get rid of the toughness so I don't take the damage. So the nice thing about shield sidearm is you can do the 1 damage, gets rid of toughness, and then now the attack can go in, which could be, it's just your basic attack, but it's 2 damage, and then Deathlock doing it. But then it's just a weapon also for loading up that firearm. So I like it. It's cool. I would probably, if I don't take this deck apart, I'm probably going to, because I do want to visit, well, we'll talk about that in the Falcon playthrough, but he has a card that basically you can make Winter Soldier into the Captain America Winter Soldier, where Bucky's Captain America. I kind of want to visit that and look at it, but for the most part, I think I'll keep this deck pretty much apart, or pretty much together. I already said the only changes I would make, I might pull a firepower or 2 out at the moment. So Metal Punch, so good. I mean, 7 damage, and if you have your arm, which you're most likely going to have because you get it at the beginning, you're looking at 8 damage and overkill, and then you saw, since you got to go through minions, you just time it right with hitting the minion at the right time, and you can just overkill damage in, which lets you ignore retaliate because you didn't target them, or ignore like her preparation ability. Yeah, this card's so good. I think there's 3. It's either 2 or 3. If there's 3, that's ridiculous, but I'm pretty sure there's only 2. Aggressive Stance, I put 1 into play. Would have been nice to get it out earlier, but that lets you even more go get this Metal Punch. So I definitely would play with 1 or 2 of these for sure. I will probably remove 1 of them and see what else I can put in here. Maybe some other attacks, or after you engage a minion. I was trying to think. Yeah, I definitely play with 1 or 2 of these in this deck for sure. Just because of the way it works to go get those till you can overkill, or go get an attack event so you can do some stuff, which would make you hopefully clean up. So, yep, I like it. Bambino, yeah, another weapon attached to a shield character. While attached to an identity, this card gains restricted. Restricted means you can only have 2. It's only got 3 uses. As an interrupt, when an attacked character makes a basic attack, remove 1 ammo counter from here. This attack deals 3 additional damage and gains overkill. I mean, that's really good. I mean, you're paying 3, but once again, that really does break down into 1 for 3 3 times, because it's 3 for 9. And then it's also giving you that overkill, so you could sit there and maybe get that ally down to 1, and then, or minion down to 1, and then overkill in. Yeah, it's cool. I'm going to leave it in here. Yeah, plus 3 hit points. We needed it apparently. Now we didn't get to see the steady in action, but steady is really good. But yeah, plus 3 hit points, really good. We needed it this time. Actually, it saved us because we came down to 1 that time. Otherwise, if I wouldn't have played that, we would have got knocked out, now to think of it. There's a second Metal Punch. We'll see if there's a third one. Yeah, Cybernetic Arm, so good. I mean, wild resource. Now, granted, it can only be done on an attack event. But given an additional damage to that attack event, yeah, so good. We already talked about Shield Sidearm. Already talked about Aggressive Stance. Winter Mask. I mean, I want to visit what, given the Spy trait does. There might be some cards you can add in if I go back and see what's on the Spy trait. There's none off the top of my head that just stick out to me. But as you attack and defeat an enemy, you get to draw a card. I mean, I never got to draw a card that just let me now all of a sudden play something. But I can see situations. I'm not going to say it's bad, because it does let you draw a card. I just want to revisit that Spy trait, see what it all could include. I drew him, didn't get to play him. I wanted to play him, but it was like, I'm just going to go ahead and see if we just win here. And yep, Captain America here. I mean, 4 costs for 3. You're still going to get 6 damage or 6 thwart out of him in any combination. So you're going to get 6 of something. Well, 6 or 2 and 4, you know, but I mean, I like the toughness, because then I could have brought him in, let him defend for me, takes a hit for you, and then you get the 6. So, or you could even technically get 8 out of him, because you could attack with him and let the toughness absorb a consequence damage. But to me, I like the idea of letting him take a hit for you. Especially like we saw that hit for 8. That would have been nice. But after Captain America enters play, ready a shield character. So you can also ready yourself to get an extra attack. So you're actually getting more damage out of him. Because you attack, you're going to do 2 damage. You're going to bring him out, which is going to let you ready him. You can attack, do 2 more damage. And I'd rather just do that than do the 2 and let him take the hit. But yeah, however you want to look at it, yeah, it's a good card. I like him. Winter Rifle, drew it, did not read it because I didn't get a chance to play it. 3 cost. When Winter Soldier makes a basic attack, exhaust Winter Rifle. Winter Soldier gets +2 attack. I mean, making your, we talked about this with the other one. Making your attack a 4, your basic attack a 4 each turn, just by exhausting that. And it gets piercing and range. So range, piercing means with that toughness, it means it gets rid of toughness first, then does its damage. And then ranged, ignores that retaliate. So I want to say I drew this on the last turn, so I didn't get a chance to do it. We saw this one go in. It was perfect because I was able to ready my hero so that I could heal, and I was able to confuse them so that I could go in alter ego form so I could heal, and then they weren't also going to put more threat on there. So, yeah, this is good preparation. Arm block, really good unless there's a guard out there. I mean, just... Man, that turn when I took all that damage, it would have been beautiful to be able to play that. But, yep, that attack defense, I'm pretty sure I did that right because, yeah, you cannot target an attack card onto the villain as long as there's a guard in the play. This is an attack card, so I'm pretty sure I was right about that. But, yeah, it's a good card, especially if you got your cybernetic arm out, which you should, unless something got rid of it. So... Right? Yeah. Let me make sure I did cybernetic arm right. You don't have to discard it, right? Nope, just exhaust it. All right. Just wanted to make sure I'd done that right. I was like, wait. Because, yeah, that seemed cheesy with the cybernetic arm out because you're always going to block all the damage and do some damage out. So, really good. Man on the Wall, I wanted to bring it out. But by then, I'd already hit several minions, so I didn't think I was going to see more minions. But, yeah, this is going to help you pay for those cards, even event cards. Yeah, this is a good card. I like it. I was just thinking other soldiers. I mean, for sure, if I decide to not keep this one with Bucky and plug the, just like switch decks maybe, bring my War Machine Justice Shield deck over and just take this deck and move it over, it would still plug in. I'd have to look at how the logistics of it would work because I don't think it would really quite work with Bucky on the way his ability works. So I think this deck needs to stay together. But I'm going to visit some stuff. But this will stay with this deck. And probably even Bucky, unless I decide to go with the Justice. Then, of course, it can't because it's aggression. But we'll see. Sorry, I was just all of a sudden, I had a brain fart there. I was trying to think. Nope, Falcon is not a soldier. Which is weird because they had him as a soldier in the MCU. But I guess, yeah, he wasn't. They said give him the soldier trait. Because one of the other things I've always wanted to do with Captain America, and I'm trying to do with the one I have now, is... And I know I'm talking longer on this card. It's just because now it's got my brain thinking. Because if Captain America has a soldier trait, I always wanted to just do Steve Rogers. And only go into Captain America form when I have like my big attacks. But I always wanted to just play Steve Rogers the leader. And I keep trying to do that by having him be Justice or Protection. And if he has a soldier trait, which he should... It would make me want to start looking at, I just talked about in my unboxing how much I like the aggression allies. So it'd make me want to visit Captain America and look at the aggression allies and try to put a team together. So this has me wanting to go look back at Captain America. This makes me want to go revisit Captain America ally deck and see what allies I can... Yeah, I'm going to do that. I can already say I'm going to do that. This is coming out of this deck. I'm going to do that. I want to see what I can do with that. I've always wanted to do a Steve Rogers ally deck since he makes allies cheaper. So, now granted, actually, Well, still, I go in, because this can only be done in hero form, but I can go into my hero form and do all my damage, and that's when I bring out my allies. So, yep. Oh, but yeah, anyway. Talked long enough on that card. Let's move on. Electrical Discharge. Yeah, I mean, you're going to do extra damage, and it doesn't say if you paid, but I used a wild resource, which it says when you pay with a wild resource, you can turn it into anything. So, and it wouldn't make sense they would just do that and not have it with the arm anyway. So, yeah, this is a good card because it lets you do damage and stun. And if you're doing it with your arm, you're going to do 5 damage and stun. So you're not going to have to. I mean, it actually saved me because I was so low on hit points also. So we didn't get to see this because of Super Soldier. I mean, 3. But 3 for 6, yeah. But giving Captain America and Winter Soldier a tough status card. So, I mean, yeah, you're not getting biggest bang of damage for your buck. But it is an attack event, so you can use your arm on it. So now you're only really discarding 2 cards for 7 damage. And if you have one of the energy, strength, with 2 resources on it, you're just discarding 1 card to do 7 damage and put toughness. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Really good. Let you go get that big that big attack, or let you just go get an attack event. Definitely, even if you're not playing with an aggression deck, that lets you go get the big arm attack. Metal punch. I was like, big arm. Yeah, it lets you go get the metal punch attack, and you're going to get probably 6 thwart out of it, is what I got out of her. Did I attack with her? I don't think I did. I think I only thwarted with her. Yeah, she's good. I didn't mention it during the unboxing, but it was bothering me. I'm pretty sure this is a reprint, and it was. I like the kick better. Now, 1 for 2 and 2, but I also had the quandary, and I think I'm right about it. Yeah, I have to be right about it. Because I was thinking, okay, it's attacked. It deals 2 damage to an enemy. But then if you defeat that enemy, does the next one attack, consider an attack? I do believe it is, because you're still targeting them with an attack card. So, but, I mean, 2 for 2. I'm not going to say it's bad. Like, if you got multiple minions out, that's going to let you take care of multiple minions. Yeah, I like it. I'm pretty sure I will see if I can't find, if I keep this in aggression, I already tell you what I can put in here. It's going to be there's a kick that does 3 damage and then does 3 damage. I'll probably put that in. We already talked about this one. I will keep it in here. I probably won't keep all 3. I'd probably see what else I can put in. I'd probably keep 1 or 2 probably for this deck if I'm keeping it this way, but to me, there's no reason to have 3 in there. I'll put another one in. The reason I put 3 in here is typically when they introduce a new card, they want to give you 3 versions of it. And then if you like that card, I'm not real big on these cards just because I don't like digging through the deck. But this one's not a bad one. I mean, you get to ready your hero to do. We just talked about if I have the 4 damage, because of my gun or whatever, I can do 4 damage now. Or if I needed that extra heal, which is what I wanted to use it for. We already talked about this one. This card's really good. I mean, I like it more than I do that Captain America one, just because going to get one of these preparation cards, which it definitely done its job, and it's cheaper for doing its bang. So, yep, I like it. We already talked about it. Safe house number 30. Exhaust safe house number 30. I almost brought this out. It just was bad timing at the time. It wasn't really going to do a lot for me. I also feel like the earlier you get this out, the better it is. Yeah, it was just bad timing, because I do like that it lets you go into the encounter deck and search. So I wouldn't have to worry about that quick strike guy. I could go in the encounter deck and go get one that wouldn't bother me, or one that I think I could knock out quickly. So also let me draw the card. So like if I start out in alter ego form, go get that minion. Actually, yeah, you could go get the quick strike then, because you're in alter ego form. So you go get the quick strike guy, but the quick strike won't attack you because you're not in hero form. So you'd be able to put him engaged with you. He won't quick strike you. then you go draw a card, and then especially if you have something like that, dang, I just keep wanting to call it Big Arm. Oh my goodness. Metal Punch. Metal Punch, and then overkill through him. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It was just, like I said, the time when I had it, I wanted to bring it into play, but it was just better for me to use it as a resource. We already talked about electrical discharge, talked about this, talked about this, talked about this. I think we talked. So there's 3 metal punches in there. Wow. Metal punch, really good. Really, really good. All right. That was a long talk through on that. Probably almost as long as the video, right? The only other last thing to talk about that came with the deck is the encounter deck stuff. All right. So the only things we haven't talked about, well, let's just stack everything together here. Only things we didn't talk about, Shield Deputy, we didn't get to try it out because it wasn't in the deck. I mean, we already talked about it. It's a 0 cost. I went and play with 3 of them, but that's the reason I give you 3 because it's new. But you can go make something into a shield, give something to shield trait, attach to a friendly character. It's going to give them an extra hit point, and they gain the shield trait. Like I said, I like it better in Maria Hill's deck, because then you can put an ally that's not shield and give it and make it where you can move some stuff around. There's some cheesy stuff I can see you can do with that. Also making another, you can throw it on your, it says friendly character, so you can throw it on another identity that's playing if you're playing multiplayer. So now they get an extra hit point, you know, and they have the shield trait. So you can also throw those guns on them and stuff like that. So I can see some stuff you can do with it. Heck, I might even, I said I'd trade out like 1 or 2 of those cards, like getting rid of one of them, maybe throwing one of these in there. Why not? This just so if you throw it into the Black Widow, if you're playing Black Widow, I guess you have to be doing Black Widow aggression though, because then you have the Winter Soldier. And this is for the Captain America deck, which that's another reason I thought about going through. Oh, no, it's not in this one. It's in the Falcon deck. Falcon has the aggression Winter Soldier. So if I go with the, yeah, I can play with this card. That's another reason I was thinking about it. Like, Falcon does have the Winter Soldier aggression, so I could throw this in there, make Captain America aggression, ally deck. I like it. White Widow, and this is why I was talking about, even though it's Black Widow, but White Widow, and it's Yelena Belova. Protection 4. After you resolve the ability of a preparation card you control, heal damage from White Widow equal to that card's printed resource cost. So you're probably going to heal her for 2 or 3. So if you're using her for thwart, well, you wouldn't heal her for 3 because she'd be knocked out, but you heal her for 2, and you also get more thwart out of her. Yeah, she's really good. I like it. This card does nothing. All right. Yeah, this is the Nemesis set. Yeah, this is a Nemesis set. We didn't see it because we didn't hit Shadows of the Past. It was a boost card instead. But we got Crossbones here. Yeah, like I said, that quick strike, that's what worried me at a certain point. So if I would have already hit him, or if I would have hit Shadows of the Past, that could have cost me the game. As a forced response, after Crossbones attacks and defeats an ally, place 2 threat on the main scheme. So basically, at the end of the day, you just don't block with an ally. It makes you have to. You can't. Basically, you couldn't do what I was talking about with Captain America. Oh, I'll let him chump block for me. Can't do that because then if he knocks out Captain America, actually, yeah, if he defeats that ally. So yeah, you could do it with Captain America, let him take that first hit. But when I was low there, I couldn't have just chump blocked with Black Widow because then it would just throw more threat on the main scheme. So, yep. Hydra Mercenaries. These are old. They, I think they're in the Rhino deck. Or maybe it's just one of the cards with the Rhino deck. I just know I've seen this card a lot. I mean, the guard's what we talked about. Guard would have been a pain in the butt. But then again, this would have put more guys in there. They're easier to overkill through. So maybe it'd have been nice to hit them. High-tech armament attached to Crossbones, so it gives them +1 attack. After you attach high-tech armaments to an enemy, that enemy activates against you. So that could have been bad if it would have came out. If I would have had this mixed in and attached to the villain. I mean, I was already low enough. I don't need him activating against me again. And then his hero action, exhaust the character you control. Now, the nice thing about that is it's a character I control. So I could have just exhausted Black Widow to get rid of him, and it wouldn't have hurt her or anything, so, or get rid of that, so that's good. Hydra hit guard, or Hydra hit squad. Each Hydra minion gets +1 attack and 2 hit points. No, no. That would have made those big guards 7. No, we don't need that. When defeated, the player who defeated this scheme searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Hydra minion and reveals it. Ugh. No. And then it would have had 3 on there per player, so yeah. So those are just only if we would have hit the thing. Oh, I forgot to add to the stack, but the Red Room programming, the obligation was in there. Oh, how bad would it have been if we would have hit it? Give to Bucky Barnes' character. You may flip to alter ego form. Choose exhaust Bucky Barnes to remove this card from the game. Discard the highest printed cost card from your hand and take indirect damage. Nope, yeah, see. I would have had to exhaust Bucky Barnes to remove this card from the game, which means I probably wouldn't have been able to heal at a certain point, so we would have lost. Yeah, that would have been bad if we would have hit it. We didn't really see Blizzard for the most part. But Villainous, I mean, 16 hit points, that would have been rough if that would have been a minion we would have hit. I didn't even think about that if I would have done that thing and hit Blizzard. Because 16 hit points, I ain't overkilling through that. So we would have just had to throw everything at Black Widow then. But after Blizzard attacks a character and search the encounter deck and discard pile for Encased in Ice. So we did see Encased in Ice. But it was only used as a preparation, I think. If I remember right. Attached to your identity, attached character cannot attack enemies other than this card. Yeah, so it had to waste attacks on that. No, no. So that would have been bad. Now we did see Slippery Conditions. Yeah, it made us have to go off to the side because you don't want that. I don't want that extra encounter and have to deal with it. And plus you're doing 3 extra scheming or 3 extra damage. Ugh, no. No, no, no. And then Whiteout. It's the same as the others that are with the Thunderbolts. That when revealed, find Blizzard and reveal him. If he's already in play, he engaged you. Blizzard activates against you. Yeah, we just talked about, I don't want that to happen. If no enemy activate this way, this card gains Surge. And then the Boost, which we didn't hit Boost. Boost basically, if that's hit when it's a part of the boost, so they're boosting the attack or the scheme, then you also have to do this bottom part, which is you are stunned, and if you were already stunned, take 1 damage. Now, we wouldn't have worried too much about that boost because we had Steady. So, which brings to mind to me, it says you are stunned, and if you were already stunned, take 1 damage. I'm assuming if you're steady, it's only if you have 2 stuns on there that you would take the extra damage. Because technically you're not stunned yet. I don't know. I need to look that up. I'm just not going to think about it that hard right now off the top of my head. But yeah, we just talked about how bad that card could be because then it brings this into play. He engages with you and then he attacks you, which would have also put the Encased in Ice on you. And yeah. All that nasty, nasty, nasty stuff. So we didn't need all that. All right. Well, this video is long enough, so I won't hold you too long. I'll try to get the Falcon one filmed. And I know I haven't even done the... I already filmed Silk playthrough. I just wasn't able to get it up. I don't know what's going on. It seems like every time I try to make one of these videos, I'm going to be surprised what's going to happen when I try to make this video. Something happens. I already had my motherboard crash once. I had, for some reason, it just decided not to film. And then if you saw my Falcon video, it, for some reason, sound just... So that was the one that decided not to film. So I went and got another hero pack so I could actually unbox properly. And then for some reason the sound decided not to work. I don't know what it is. I'm snake bitten on filming these videos, but I won't... This is the reason why you haven't been seeing me steady on here. And I'm going to make a video. That way you don't have to listen to all this. But I'm going to make a video to address all that. It's been a mess. But anyways, this video's long enough. I will try to get these videos up. I do still need to film the Black Panther video, which I am kind of looking forward to since I never played with the original Black Panther, so I do want to play with that Black Panther. The Silk video I will get up as soon as possible. It's just since it was already well past the release, and I want to get these out as before the release so that y'all can actually see if y'all want to go out and get it. But I will get the Silk video up, and I still need to film the Black Panther one and the Falcon one. But I will get Falcon up before I try to do the other ones, just because they're the newest ones, and you need to see if you want to add those in or not. But, all right. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.